Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'm bringing you today's video. Just had a few things I wanted to go over real fast. First, our usual shout out of appreciation to all of our patrons out there. We appreciate all those tips and support, and hope you guys are enjoying the videos that we put out for you guys exclusively every single week, including the How to Deal Craps instructional set that is ongoing. And if you're curious about it, go ahead and check the description of the video down below. And also, I wanted to go over, we've had a couple of questions about the this little neon light thing that we've been putting on some of our other videos. So if anybody's interested in one of these, just shoot us an email at sincityliving.lv@gmail.com. And so I did another test of our live stream, another attempt to do the live stream. So I now know that I have the right equipment, the right camera, the right programming, able to get all of that done. Unfortunately, what I did discover is that my computer was not strong enough, was not powerful enough to be able to encode and upload it as an actual live stream. So I'm going to continue tweaking with that, although it may turn out that I'm just going to have to wait until I can afford to buy a newer, more powerful computer for that. So that will be on the list. So it does look like live streaming may not be as upcoming as I was hoping. It's going to take us a little bit of time to generate that up. And otherwise, please make sure you email us with any questions, strategies, anything you would like us to video. We love shooting these videos for you guys. If not, I'm going to go straight into today's video. So for today's video, I want to talk about the two things. I want to talk about the habits of good players, and I want to talk about why late bets are so bad. It's something that we've covered repeatedly in multiple videos, but I know people aren't going through and when they find our channel going back through and watching 400 videos. So I'm trying to start repeating some of our concepts. In fact, I'll start out with that one. Why are late bets bad? Late bets are bad for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is that it's rude to the shooter. It's rude to the shooter, and it interrupts the shooter. Especially, there are certain players that we will see them holding their chips in their hand, and we will tell them, hey, go ahead and make your bet, go ahead and make your bet, go ahead and make your bet. And for some reason, there's certain players that think it's the cool thing to do to wait until the shooter has picked up the dice and then dart their hand in to make their field bet. They seem to think that's the time to make their field bet, no matter how many times we tell them. That is highly, highly, highly annoying, and will put a target on that player for sure. That is a player that they keep doing that, then any other bet they try and make is going to be an instant no bet, because we basically understand that we need to either train this player or get this player off the table because they are interrupting the game for the shooter and for the other players. So that's issue number one. This is very rude to the shooter. Two, it can potentially put your hand in the way. You want to keep your hands out of the way when the dice are flying. That is a huge deal. If the dice hit your hand and a 7-out occurs, that is on you. It's not on anybody else, it's on you. And yes, it's the legal rule. People always start complaining. They don't complain when it's a winner, of course, but they'll start complaining when it's, count, that shouldn't count, it hit his hand, yada, yada, yada. Well, they should have kept their hand out of there. It is most definitely going to be a legal rule. Another factor on why late bets are bad is because it looks questionable, especially for bets in here. When people throw in, something like, say, oh, let me get a $10, 11, 12, and the dice are already out, so the dealer goes $10, 11, 12, that's a bet. Try and get your bets earlier, please. But they just leave it right there because they have to. They're not allowed to take their eyes off of the dice, which means they can't pick that bet up and place it properly. So the dice roll and a 12 hits. So a 12 lands, and now the dealer picks up your bet, puts it in a spot that just so happens to win. That looks very odd to the cameras, especially if it happens over and over and over again. Right, that looks extremely suspicious to the cameras, and the dealers are not going to want to sit there looking that suspicious to the cameras. It has definitely happened in the past where dealers have colluded with players utilizing that exact strategy, late bets, in order to basically cheat. Place the bet on whatever just happened to hit just then, and say that's what the bet was. That's what the player had called. So, as a protection for the dealer for their job, they're not going to want to put up with late bets for very long. They're going to give a couple of warnings, and then they're just going to start no betting after that. So if you want your bet, please make your bet early while the dice are in the middle. Okay? And for the final reason that late bets are bad, it's again a safety thing for the dealers, for job protection and what we call game protection. And what that means is that we are trying to eliminate the ability for players to take shots. Somebody throws in a late bet and mumbles. We think we hear one thing, so we book it, and the dice land, and the player says, no, that's what I had, that's what I bet. That's not what we heard, and that's not what was booked. And that's why dealers repeat the bet. You throw a bet in and mumble your bet, and we repeat it, and it's not what you mumbled, but you don't say anything. Well, that's what your bet is now. That's why we repeated your bet, so that you had the opportunity to say, no, that's not what I bet. Now, if you're hemming and hawing, I've had people that then go, I want a no bet, because the dice are already out. We're going to give you a second, especially if it's your first late bet. If you throw it in and say, I want a $10 hard 8, okay, you got a $10 hard 8. But if you throw that in and go, I want 5 on hard 6 and 5, no bet, no bet. You're taking way too long. The dice are already out. Once they start flying, we're not going to be dealing with it. So we're not going to allow any kind of confusion. Same thing when someone does, throws that in. That could be a 6 or it could be an 8. Which one is it? Say something. So the late bets give people the opportunity to potentially take shots. If somebody says, let me get a horn high yo, and it's a late bet, and the dealer, if they happen to be weak, just says, you've got a horn high yo, that's a bet. And I'll say 8 rolls. The player goes, where's my 20 change? That's why, again, we don't allow late bets. Right? Now, if it's a strong dealer, let me get a horn high yo. $25 horn high yo, that's a bet. Now, no, where's my 20 change? Not happening. We booked a $25 horn high yo very loudly, is what it is. And by the way, the second somebody tries to take a shot on a late bet, they will never be able to make another late bet on that table again. Period. If the dice have even slightly started to move out of the center and they open their mouths, it's going to be a nope. They're going to be met with an instant no bet. So those are the reasons that late bets are bad. So now, what are some of the habits of good players? Well, the first one, and the most obvious one, know when to bet. Know when to bet. We see players all the time that are just standing there with the chips in their hand, and we're looking at them like, do you have a bet to make? Are you going to say something? The players that have the best habits, they don't sit there and stare and hem and haw and just stare and play with their chips until the dice start moving. They know when to bet. When to bet is when the dice are in the middle. Right? You don't have to hold on to your bets until everyone else stops talking. No, you don't have to do that. You take your money, then you put your money out in the come, and if at best case scenario, you put your money out in the come and you say, I want 54 across. The dealer should hear you. A good dealer will be able to hear everybody and be able to remember. And if not, you've at least put your money out there, so they've set up the rest of the bets, and they go, okay, what do you got here, sir? 54 across? You got it. Boom. And they set you up. Right? You don't hold on to it. You just put your money out there. Know when to bet. When the dice are in the middle, that's when you want to bet. Center action, that's when you want to bet up here. Okay? If a roll occurs and you have some center action bets, the good players throw their center action bet in. The players that don't really have those best habits and know when to play, wait until they get paid from their bets over here, have the chips in their hand, and then throw in their bet for the center action, which usually is coinciding with about when we're starting to move the dice. Okay, now it makes sense if you have nothing else in your bankroll up top, but 99.9% of the time, the player has plenty of chips up in their bankroll, so them saying, oh, well, I was waiting until I got paid makes no sense, and that's why we don't accept that as an excuse when we tell them, hey, make your bets while the dice are in the middle. Well, you need to slow the dice down. No, we don't. There was plenty of time while we were paying all these bets up here to make the bets. And the best players, the ones with the best habits, they understand that. They know it's a fast game, and they know that waiting is never the time to make a bet. You always make your bets immediately. As soon as the dice have stopped moving, you can start making your bets. Right? Same thing when it comes to presses and stuff like that. You don't tell the dealer after they've given you the money. You tell the dealer before they even start paying you. Press me 1 unit, press me 2 units, press me all the way. Just a standard press, whatever it may be. Cross press the 6 and 8, whatever it may be. You tell them before they even start paying you, because for a lot of presses, there are sequences and moves that we make that are very smooth, very efficient, and speed things up. But not if we've cut out the money, handed it to you, now you tell us to press, because now we've got to stop what we're doing, which was moving on to the next player, because your bets are done, and now we have to go back take your money, manually build up your new bet, and give you the rest of your money back if you gave us too much. Whereas the best players, they will tell us in advance. Now, along with that, one of the big habits one of the good habits that players have is knowing what their bets pay and knowing what their presses are going to be. When you have a bet, say you've got an $18 six, and you decide that you want to go straight to 30. Well, you know that in advance. So as soon as the 6 rolls, you say, take me to 30. You don't wait, again, until you have the money. You immediately say, take me to 30. Same thing, let's say you have a $12 6. Right? And this is what I mean about knowing what your bets pay. 6 rolls, and I see this not super often. I see it every so often. 6 rolls, take me to 30. You don't have enough money. Know what your bet pays. Know how much you have available, and know what your next press is. The ones with the best habits that have that $12 6, the 6 rolls, and they throw in a 5 and say, take me to 30, you got it. That's a dollar change. Here you go. Because it's going to take you $4 additional to go from 12 to 30. Because you only get paid $14. So you have 26 to work with, your initial 12 plus your 14. So you need an extra $4. Right? So knowing what your bets pay and knowing what your next press move is going to be is a very important thing for making your game smoother and easier. Okay. And the final and just as important habit that is a good one to develop is know what your bets are. Again, watching someone sit there playing with their chips while they're sitting there staring at the board, and sometimes you can actually see people, their mouths are moving because they're talking to themselves under their breath. As they're trying to figure it out. Now, yeah, we get it. Especially if you're new at craps, you got to figure out your bets and stuff like that. But you've got plenty of time. Don't waste all the dead time. Once you've gotten paid, if you don't know what your next sequence of bets might be, or your next bet, once you've made all your bets and they're still paying, and they're paying the rest of the people, or they're moving the dice out, you should already be thinking what your next bets are going to be if you don't already know them. If you don't already know what bets you're going to bring back up in the center, where you're going to press up here, be thinking about that in advance. Don't wait until the dice land, you know what number it is, and now start trying to figure it out. Try and know what your bets are in advance. Figure it out. We have this this joke we use for some dealers that don't really pay attention to the game, but it also applies to some players, and that's every roll is a new adventure. It's I swear it's like they've never seen these numbers roll before in their lives, and now it's shocking to them that 6 rolled. So now they have to figure out what their bets are going to be. It gets even more important when you're looking at lays, especially direct lays, but when you're looking at lays, because lays need to be proper. Lays must be proper. So know what your bet is. Know what your bet is. Know what the proper bet is. Definitely know what it pays, but know what the proper bet is and know what your bet is going to be. Lays should never be late bet. And a lot of times, even if you've never gotten a single late bet warning, a lot of times a late bet will be a no bet almost instantly. Unless you can say the exact amount. Let's say you have had a bet travel to the 9. And then the dice are moving and you say, I want to lay the 9. And you just throw out your chips. We can't even see what you've got entirely. You just say, I want to lay the 9. No bet. But if you throw out your chips and say, $90 lay on the 9, that's a bet. I will book $90 lay on the 9 because that is proper. You've given me a dollar amount that is proper, and I can clearly see you have actually more than that. So you are good. You put enough money out. You clearly stated what your bet is. $90 lay on the 9. Bet. Very, very clear. So as soon as the dice land, I'm going to go ahead and give you back the quarter because you overpaid. I'm going to set you up your $90 lay. It's even more important with direct lays. With direct lays, I see stuff like this a lot. I want to lay the 10. No bet. Tell me a dollar amount. Tell me a dollar amount, or make the bet when the dice are in the middle. And even then, tell me a dollar amount. You stop the game when the dealer has to go, okay, well, what do you want? Do you want a $120 lay on the 10? Do you want a $100 lay on the 10? What do you want? So tell us a dollar amount when you put it out. And with a direct lay, know the VIG. That's the biggest reason that we no bet direct lays all the time. I see this a lot. $100 lay on the $100 no 4. the dice are already moving, I'll look down and go, no bet. They've got $100 there. Where's the vig? We're not gonna have a 7 roll and pay you and all that. You haven't paid the vig. If you want to do a direct lay, you better throw in 105 and say, I want a $100 no 4. Okay, cool. You got a $100 no 4. That is a bet, and I will book that every single time. But you throw me $100 as the dice are already moving out and say, no 4, no bet. One, you didn't tell me how much. A 4 rolls, you're going to say, I wanted an $80 no 4. I mean, there's so many different options that you can do right then as for taking a shot. The 7 rolls, I'm saying drop me $5 for your vig. You know, just take it out of the payout. It doesn't work that way. So know exactly what your bets are. So I hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, or at least, you know, just plain fun. Thank you guys very much for watching. We will catch you next time. Bye now. Okay guys, so as I promised at the end of the videos, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the live stream and how it's going to work. So the first thing is, if you're interested in being one of the players for our craps tournaments, which is we're going to have every single week, please email us at sincitylivinglv@gmail.com. I need the email addresses and want to know who is interested so that we can get it set up and we can select it. I'm going to have the first round is going to be 16 players. There'll be 4 players per week. The 5th week is going to be the 4 champions from previous weeks to get an ultimate champion. Haven't decided yet what the prize will be. Maybe I'll see if I can pick up another one of these lights. But we'll have some sort of prize for our champion. So please, if you're interested, email us. I want to pick the first 8 players, the first 2 weeks worth of players, so that we'll have the first 4 ready for the first week, and the other 4 will be kind of backup, just in case somebody has connection issues or something comes up and they're not able to play that week. Then I've got the other players on standby, so I can just bump one of them up and maybe shift the first person down or something along those lines. The main tournament is going to be Thursdays at 6 o'clock my time, Las Vegas time, 6 p.m. Las Vegas time. And it's the way it's going to work is it's going to be a time thing. I'm going to do the live stream for an hour. I'm going to do the game for an hour, rather. And it might work out to about 30 rolls, might work out to about 40 rolls. I'm not too sure. We'll see how it goes. But it's going to be time. It's going to be an hour. Instead of the craps tournaments that they do down on the strip where it's 30 rolls, we're going to do an hour. So I want to make sure I have a finite time limit for this to start with, and then we will go from there. I'm going to find a way, either a Discord or a Zoom or a private chat room, some way for the players to be logged into something where I can communicate with them on my second computer so that they can tell me what their bets are, what they want to bet, what they want to press when something hits, without me having to scroll through the full chat of the live stream itself. I'm not going to be able to keep an eye on that, and if we have enough people watching and chatting, it could be difficult to keep an eye. So I have to figure that part out. Another reason I need the emails, so I can communicate back and forth with the potential players. So if you're interested, again, please email me. Eventually, just pretty much everybody's going to have an opportunity to be in on these things, because we're going to do multiple ones. I'm also looking at probably doing a second craps tournament, maybe late Wednesday nights, possibly, I'm not sure, where I'm going to do it a little bit different. The second one is going to be, instead of 1 hour and then whoever's got the most chips is the winner, because those craps tournaments tend to have really weird strategies. They're not normal strategies that you'd see in normal play, because you're competing against other players and you just want to make sure you have more chips than them by the end. What I'm going to do with the second tournament is, instead of a weekly winner, we're going to play for an hour, and then I'll keep track of how much money people still have on there, or how many chips they still have. And then the next week, same players are going to keep going. Basically, this game will go until the bankrolls end, until we have one person with money left, or chips left. Again, there's no money involved in this. So once we have one final winner, so people will drop out as their play money bankrolls expire, as they run out of chips. So that one, I'm guessing we'll see some more normal strategies, the kind of things people actually play when they're actually playing craps. And then eventually we're going to add baccarat, pai gow, 3-card poker, blackjack, of course, to these tournaments, whatever we can, to these live streams and live stream tournaments, whatever we can, when we can, as best we can. We're going to have to figure it out as we go. We have a lot of time constraints between me working full-time plus a child. But we're going to do the best we can. We're very, very excited to have this going. And we also will try and pick a day or time where I can do a patron-exclusive tournament or two. We'll see. We'll see how many of our patrons are interested, and see if we can't get that going as well, where it's only on the patron site. So definitely stay tuned, guys. Please, if you're interested in playing in one of the tournaments or partaking in our live streams, aside from just the chat, obviously it's a live stream. Please watch, chat with us, let us know how it's going or what you think, and otherwise, please, again, email us, sincitylivinglv@gmail.com. Otherwise, I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Any suggestions, please hit us up. Thank you guys very, very much. We appreciate every single one of you guys, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.